Hello everyone, my name is Radhika. Thank you for giving us a few minutes to talk to you about leadership and its connection to shareholder value. James M. Kouzes and Barry Z. Posner wrote The Leadership Challenge. After analyzing thousands of leadership experiences, they discovered that leaders have followed a surprisingly similar route regardless of different industries, times, and settings. When making extraordinary things happen in organizations, leaders engage in the 5 practices of exemplary leadership: model the way, inspire a shared vision, challenge the process, enable others to act, and encourage the heart. Model the way consists of 2 parts. The first step to becoming a credible leader is to clarify your own personal values. And then the second step is to set the example by aligning your actions to shared values and the values that you set for the company. Leaders need to inspire a shared vision because as a leader, you passionately believe that you can make a difference. You envision the future and you enlist others to believe in your vision and see the exciting possibilities for the future. As a leader, you're always challenging the process because you don't want to just ride the waves of change. You want to create them. You want to experiment and try to find better ways of doing things. Among the different leaders we talked to, this seemed to be a common theme. In particular, an IT manager at Marlette Funding said, "Leadership is allowing my employees to fail. A culture of failure is where you get innovation from. If people are too afraid to try, they'll just follow the status quo." I think that's a very powerful quote. Exemplary leaders know you can't do it alone. Extraordinary things don't occur in a vacuum. Collaboration is key. Leaders know that they need to strengthen others. They want to turn their employees into leaders, people capable of acting on their own initiative. Lastly, you want to encourage the heart. This means recognizing contributions and celebrating the values and victories with your employees. People want to feel appreciated for all the hard work they're doing, and they want to feel that you recognize them. Now, Liat is here to talk a little bit more about Model the Way.
Scholars say that successful leaders embrace values. Values grip leaders. The stronger the value systems, the more strongly leaders can be empowered and the more deeply they can impact their followers. In addition to impacting followers by defining their own values, leaders are very attuned to the values of the organization. Once they find these values, they affirm the shared values every opportunity they get. In addition to that, they set the example. Not only do they talk the talk, they also walk the walk. Their behavior precisely exemplifies their values, and they create an environment that encourages all the rest of the employees to act in accordance with those values. Why should you model the way? There are quantifiable evidence that prove that modeling the way boosts an organization's stats. CEOs whose employees gave them high marks for character had a return on assets of over 9%. Additionally, the estimated ROI on leadership development is between 400 to 1,000%. Research can also tell us how the process happens. When a manager embodies his stated values and behaviors, his followers are more likely to view him as charismatic. And when a leader is charismatic, it's been proven that followers put more effort into the organization, more time, and more commitment. It also caused the superiors of the manager to rank them as more successful managers. In conclusion, modeling the way is important, and we've just outlined the reasons why. I'm now going to pass it on to John, who's going to exemplify how this value has been done in the past and how maybe you can implement it in your organization.
All right, thank you, Liat. Now I'm going to talk to you about somebody who truly personifies Model the Way, Richard Panico. Richard Panico is CEO and founder of IPM, Integrated Project Management, which is a project management consulting firm. Richard founded the company in 1988 and while founding it, really displayed 2 key factors of Model Way: finding your voice and aligning it with shared values. When Richard founded the company, he wanted it to be based on a set of values that he truly believed in. These values, the values he came up with were a set of ethical principles that he knew most people could align with. By looking at some of these values, like honesty and integrity, they are not too far-fetched of ideas. They are concepts that most people try to emulate already. It was because he established these values within the company that he created initial and continuing success with his company. Richard also does a good job of setting the example. He's continually showing that he believes in these values through communication and his interaction with his employees, other companies in the community. He is also able to see success through his employees. He knows that they are empowered. He knows that they are empowered to act, and as long as they act within the company's values, they will not be chastised for failure, but instead asked to learn from it. So these two graphs were pulled from a survey of 109 IPM employees, and it shows their satisfaction with their company. One of the key points to take away from this slide is pride. 98% of IPM employees take pride in their work. This shows how much of an effect that shared values have on a company. The shared values make the employees feel like they are part of the family and in turn take pride in their work. IPM has also seen success outside of employee satisfaction. They are constantly listed on the INC 5000 for growth, most recently in 2010 to 2013, where they showed a growth of 56% over those 3 years. They are also, in this most recent year, have earned $29.3 million in annual revenue. And they have received multiple awards for ethics over the years from the Better Business Bureau. Finally, I want to talk to you about another leader who took a similar path. Recently, we interviewed Ian Blake, a managing director at EMP FFX Limited. Ian found his voice through a book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. He aligned his values with the rest of the employees by sharing the book with them. This is just another example of how Model the Way can be implemented in your company.
As my colleague Radhika mentioned, enable others to act is a huge part of leadership. One part of enabling others to act is fostering collaboration. So the Economist Intelligence Unit conducted a survey of 249 business leaders to determine how internal collaboration influences business results. What they found was that employees who worked at companies who had high market share viewed collaboration as being a huge part of their company, in comparison to employees of companies who did not have a high market share. So I want to talk to you quickly about Google. So Google was ranked as the #1 company to work for in the United States in 2016. So one thing about Google is they have a lot of perks, but the main purpose of these perks is to foster collaboration. To give you an example, at Google, their employees get access to an unlimited buffet. But through data analytics, Google has made it so that their employees have to stand optimally for 3 to 4 minutes in line before getting to the food. What happens in those 3 to 4 minutes is people collaborate and form new relationships. All right, so in today's day and age, we have a lot of technology. And technology is great for doing things like the fact-based, rule-based, and left brain thinking. But what more and more employers are viewing is that they need to employ people who are great at team building. This will increase the morale and also collaboration throughout their company. The other part of enabling others to act is strengthening your employees. So what does this mean? This means you want to continually educate your employees. So ways to educate your employees include bringing speakers in, sending them to seminars. Another thing you don't want to do is if an employee comes to you with a problem, you certainly don't want to give them the answer. What you want to do is you want to ask them questions and coach them through their problems. This will enable them to learn from experience. The great thing about educating your employees is you're taking your employee when they come in, and through education, you're allowing them to become your future leaders. All right, so before I leave you, I want to give you a couple of facts. So Best Buy was actually able to put this into data. What they found was at their individual stores, if their employees increased their engagement by 0.1%, so a minimal percent, their stores were able to bring in over $100,000 in operating income each year. So the final thing I have for you is high trust organizations have been shown to outperform low trust organizations by 286%. That should really put it into numbers for you how important it is to enable others to act. I'd now like to pass it off to Ben.
Thank you, Sam, for giving such a well-rounded description of enabling others to act. Now I would love to share a story that illustrates how impactful and influential enabling others to act can be. Now, in Turn the Ship Around, the retired Navy captain L. David Marquis describes how a culture of fear plagued the USS Santa Fe, a nuclear submarine that suffered under extreme command and control leadership before he took over. The crew had low morale and the worst retention rate in the fleet. Now, I'm not sure if you're aware, but this poses a problem. Why? Because nuclear submarines must accomplish their mission while maintaining security and safety. So performance depends in large part on the skill and the judgment of the crew members. Marquis argues that the constant fear of being yelled at for making mistakes, not knowing things, challenging authority, and so on made it harder for sailors to think well, act quickly, and make informed decisions. Marquis dared to change this culture by using high involvement leadership techniques, such as empowering crew members to make decisions and not punishing them for every mishap. Marquis was able to eventually change the leadership culture there. As a result, the sailors became more confident and accountable, and less inclined to simply wait for permission or direction from their commanding officer. The transformation paid off. Marquis led the ship from low-performing to award-winning, and 10 of his 20 officers later went on to become submarine captains themselves. Now, as I said, the story really illustrates how impactful and influential a leadership culture could be, because it forces collaboration and it encourages others to take accountability, and it strengthens them in the process as well. Thank you, and now I would like to turn it over to Radhika for our closing remarks.
Thank you all for listening to our presentation about the need for a leadership culture. Please let us know if you have any questions. Leadership is a topic that is really important to me and my colleagues. We are committing to individualizing our research to your specific company and team. We believe in this model, and we have seen it boost not only morale, but shareholder value for various companies, and we know it'll work for you. Thank you again.